The clash of steel has faded. The roar of 1,000 men is gone, replaced by the sounds of survival and pain. For a Roman legionary, the end of battle marks the start of a new struggle. He lies wounded, adrenaline spent, dread creeping in. His shield is splintered, his sword lost, and a barbarian's axe has left a deep gash in his thigh. The world blurs as he wonders, will I live to see another sunrise? Around him, comrades who shared wine last night now lie still. He tries to move, but pain pins him down, alone and vulnerable. The sun dips, shadows lengthen, and every sound could mean danger. Some men limp back to camp, others are trapped, their cries fading. Survival is a brutal lottery, determined by wounds, luck, and whether help arrives in time. The grand strategy of generals means nothing now, only the burning in his leg and hope for rescue matter. The cold seeps in, and he presses cloth to his wound, thinking of home in Tuscany. Roman soldiers were the backbone of an empire, but in moments like this, they are fragile men praying for help. Suddenly he hears it, a disciplined tread, a call in Latin. Help is on its way. The agony of battle is replaced by the agony of waiting. For the wounded legionary, the fight for survival has only just begun. The battlefield is silent, but his struggle is far from over. In the darkness, hope flickers with the approach of Roman medics. Out of the gloom, figures emerge. The capsari, battlefield medics of the Roman legions. Carrying their capsa, filled with bandages and tools, they move with practiced efficiency, torches lighting the carnage. Their job is triage, quickly deciding who can be saved and who cannot. They are not elite physicians, but fellow soldiers trained in first aid. For our wounded legionary, the capsarii are his only chance. They work swiftly. One holds a torch, another cuts away blood-stiffened trousers. Calm voices reassure as they clean the wound with wine or vinegar, then wrap it tightly to stop the bleeding. This is not surgery. This is stabilization. Their goal? Get the wounded off the field and back to safety. Stretcher bearers lift him onto a litter, beginning the agonizing journey to the fortress. Every jolt is pain, but he is no longer alone. The Roman system values its soldiers. Saving them is both compassion and military investment. The capsari are the first crucial step in that system. Their work is the difference between life and death. For many, the sight of their torchlight is the first hope after the chaos of battle. The chain of care has begun. The legionary's fate now rests in Roman hands. What did Roman medics carry? Archaeology reveals their kits were surprisingly advanced. Excavations show specialized tools, probes, scalpels, forceps, bone levers, and even cranial drills. These were not crude implements, but precision instruments for treating wounds, extracting projectiles, and resetting bones. Linen bandages, wool soaked in wine or honey, and plant-based remedies filled their capsa. Honey's antibacterial properties made it a favorite dressing. Poppy extracts and willow bark eased pain and inflammation. Suturing was common, using bronze needles and flax thread or metal clips for large wounds. The variety and quality of these tools show the Roman army took soldier survival seriously. Medics were equipped with the best technology of their time. Their methods were practical and effective, not magical. The Roman approach to battlefield medicine was systematic and innovative. Soldiers had a real chance at recovery thanks to this toolkit. The medics' skill and equipment were a lifeline for the wounded. The empire's strength depended on keeping its soldiers alive. Once stabilized, wounded soldiers were taken to the valetudinarium, the Roman military hospital. These were permanent, purpose-built facilities inside every major fortress. Not tents, but large buildings with courtyards, small patient rooms and running water. The design promoted healing, fresh air, sunlight, and limited overcrowding. A chief medicus oversaw a staff of medici and capsari, supported by cooks and cleaners. There were operating rooms, supply stores, and kitchens for special diets. Inside, order and cleanliness replaced battlefield chaos. Hygiene was a priority. Running water and latrines kept disease at bay. Our legionary's wound would be examined, cleaned, stitched and dressed. He'd receive food, water and pain relief. For the first time since his injury, he could rest and recover. The valetudinarium was a revolutionary step in military medicine. Here, the hope of survival became real. A clean bed and skilled care were vital, but infection was the deadliest enemy. Without antibiotics, even minor wounds could be fatal. Roman Medici fought infection with aggressive cleanliness, washing wounds with wine, vinegar, and mineral salts. They debrided dead tissue, packed wounds with honey, and used herbal poultices. Dressings were changed regularly, watching for signs of gangrene. Despite their efforts, infection claimed many lives. If gangrene set in, amputation was the only option, performed with bone saws and tourniquets, and opium-laced wine for pain. The operation was perilous. Survival depended on the surgeon's skill and the patient's toughness. For every man who recovered, many more did not. Infection was the greatest threat to wounded soldiers. The battle for survival continued long after the fighting stopped. Roman medicine saved some, but the odds were grim. The valetudinarium was both a place of hope and a reminder of war's cost. Some soldiers survived their wounds, but could not return to duty. The army had a process, the missio corsoria, honourable discharge for cause. This was no shame, but recognition of sacrifice. Senior medics examined the soldier, determining if he was unfit for combat. Official paperwork, the diplomata, granted legal proof of service and discharge. For non-citizens, this often meant full Roman citizenship for themselves and their descendants. All veterans received a pension, money, land, or both, often in new colonies. The diploma and pension marked a profound transition from legionary to civilian. The soldier had survived battle, wound, and infection, and was rewarded by Rome. But leaving the army brought new challenges. The war was over, but a new struggle was about to begin. The missio causaria was both an ending and a beginning. The veteran stepped into an uncertain future. Leaving the legion structure was a shock after decades of discipline. Veterans faced overwhelming choices and unfamiliar challenges. Managing a pension or land grant was difficult, especially for those with lasting injuries. Physical labor was hard for men with permanent wounds, leading to hardship and frustration. The respect of the legion did not always translate to civilian success. Social adjustment was tough. Veterans often felt isolated, even in colonies of fellow soldiers. The camaraderie of the barracks was gone, replaced by loneliness. The trauma of war lingered. Nightmares, rage, and melancholy haunted many. The Romans had no term for PTSD, but they knew its effects. Veterans struggled to find new identities outside the army. The battle after the battlefield was for mind and soul. Rebuilding a life was as hard as any campaign. The scars of war followed them home. Despite hardships, Rome did not abandon its veterans. Many joined collegia, social clubs that offered belonging and burial support. Tombstones recorded their service, battles, and honourable discharge. These stones are poignant reminders of lives defined by duty. The Roman system demanded sacrifice, but offered revolutionary care for its time. Capsari, valetudinaria, surgical tools, and legal protections showed Rome valued its soldiers. Care was born of necessity, but its effects were life-saving. The story of the wounded legionary echoes today: physical injury, trauma, and the struggle to return to civilian life. Rome's system teaches that care for soldiers must extend beyond the battlefield. Sacrifice deserves support, and warriors must not be forgotten. The promise of care is a duty that endures long after the war is over.